Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another review. This time it's going to be a Skull Candy Dimes and the Soundcore Life Note E. Now this was actually a requested review, so I'm going to go ahead and put the person in the comment section that did request this. But without further ado, let's hop into the review and see what the major differences are with these headsets. All right, guys, so welcome back to the channel. I'm going to basically do this review the same way I do most of my headphone reviews. I'll try to stick on topic. I don't like jumping places, but we're going to do design amongst other things and eventually close out to see which one is better or which one's a better buy for you, which that all depends on how you personally feel about the products that you use. Now, when it comes to the Skull Candy Dimes, as you already know, this headset has I'm going to go over the specs anyway. This has an 8-hour battery life. Actually, no. Sorry, no it doesn't. 8 hours in the case, but we're going to cut that out. We're going to look at the design. We're going to start with that. So when you look at this particular headset, this does have an open and snap shut design. So for those that are looking for a more secure headset where you can hang this on your keychain, it can hang from your book bag, it can be a little charm, whatever you want it to be, just watch rain. Because I don't believe the case is IP rated, but I know the headset itself is IPX5. This is ideal for people that want something that's rugged, that can go on the go, that can take damage. You could drop this, it won't crack. Now, it does have an ear hook. I said ear hook. It does have this little loop right here where you can hook this up to a neck chain. You can hook this up to your keys. There are many options for carrying this without putting it inside of your pocket. The only downside to this particular case, in my opinion, is the fact that when you take these out of the headset, out of the case itself, the contacts are exposed. So when it comes to dust, water, make sure it's not raining. If it's raining, make sure this is in your pocket rather than necessarily a pocketbook or purse or just a regular book bag that's not waterproof, because you can damage the case. That's the only issue that I have with it. Outside of being micro USB, I would have preferred USB-C. It's not, unfortunately, but it is what it is, and that's fine. But again, when you take them out of the case, they auto connect. When you don't take them out, when you put them back in, they auto disconnect. That's how this looks. And it does have that rugged, rough feel. It's so smooth, but it has this rough enough feel where, excuse me, it won't slip out of your hand while holding it. It doesn't feel very slippery. On the other hand, we have the Light Note E's when it comes to physical design. Micro USB, no wireless charging on either headset. This does have the flip open design, but as you can see, it's less resistance. It won't just pop open when you shake it or anything like that. So it is secure, but there is no aesthetic where you can just hook this and put a case on it or something and be on the go. With this particular headset, everything comes with it. You hook this on your shirt, you hook this on your pants, you hook this on your necktie, you hook this on whatever it is that you want, and you go about your business. This is the type of headset where I would just keep as an extra headset in case I was to ever lose one, or I knew someone that's like, oh, I lost my headphones, I just need something to use temporarily. I'll clean them off with Kleenex or bleach, not bleach, but cleaning wipes, and let them go ahead and use it. It's just an extra accessory to have that doesn't really cause any issues, especially if it's hooked on a keychain, which I will be doing that. This, on the other hand, goes more so in a pocket. You do have the physical button right here that shows your battery life. It'll let you know which one's charging when you take it out of the case and you pop it in. It normally just lets you know which one's connected. Left side, the right side will blink to let you know that the right side is connected and you're good to go. And you have your 0 to 100% battery life right here, where even though you won't necessarily know how charged the case is, the battery indicator will let you know based on what's charged and what isn't. So that's one thing to be aware of. Now, on the next part, let's pop these both open. Let's look at design. When it talk about design, the Skull Candy Dimes are smaller than the Life Note E's. Now, the person that actually asked me to do a review on this wanted me to do a review on the P2 Minis. Now, what I will say, the P2 Minis spec-wise is identical to the Life Note E's. The only difference is they did just update the design a little bit, not the physical size, but just the design, the smoothness of the headset, just how the outside design looks, because Anchors are really an up-and-coming brand that is doing very, very well in that space. To be honest, I think they'll overtake the market when it comes to Skull Candy headphones, primarily because they offer better battery life and better pricing. But Skull Candy gets it together and start making more headphones this size with better battery life. I think that they'll get themselves right back in the game, especially with competitive pricing. But if we're just talking about size, they're similar to size, though the Skull Candy Dimes are a little bit shorter, as you can see. They are, in my opinion, a little bit lighter in the ear. Now, I don't know on paper because I'm not going to give you gram sizes and all that, but these do feel lighter. Now, these are IPX4. These are IPX5. So you do get better water resistance and dust resistance on the Anchor brand. But what I will say is that the Skullcandy have the physical power buttons, while the Anchors have the touch buttons. So for those that like touch controls, I'm not really a fan of that. Here you are. If you don't like touch controls, then the Skullcandies in this particular scenario would be the better option. Now, let's just take a look at the headset right now so you guys can see it up close. So they're very similar. If we're talking about design outside of contact points, they are very similar. They both have mono mode. And like I was saying, if you look at this rubber tip, right, this is a medium tip, this is a large tip for Skullcandy. The reason I had to use a large tip for this particular headset is because when you use a smaller one, you don't get the bass and quite. It didn't sound very bassful or impactful at all in my ear. It didn't go directly in my ear deeper into the canal because the medium tips were pretty small. But as soon as I switched them over to large, it did a huge impact on the sound quality. And we will hop into a sound quality segment. So they both have mono mode, in case you're wondering. So you could use either or, left ear, right ear by itself with both headsets. So that's a plus. If we're talking about battery life, and this is where things are going to take a dramatic change. Well, I think I already said that in this video. I could be wrong. I re-recorded so many times to get this correctly because I kept jumping from category to category. You get a total of 12 hours in this headset. You get a total of 32 hours in this one. And what I mean by that is the actual Anchor headset right here gives you a total of 8 hours in one charge. 8 hours, one charge. Now, I don't think this has any type of fast charging or anything like that. It doesn't have that feature, neither one does, but 8 hours, 24 inside the case. Now, this is where there could be a huge discrepancy. With this particular headset, the Skullcandy Dimes, I'm just going to say the Dimes for sure. I'm going to say the Notes, the Note E's for this one. 3 hours of charge right here, and then the case gives you a total of 8 hours charge. So for the average user, if you're working in an office and you're not able to use the headset, then that's a different story. But I personally work a job where I'm able to keep my headset in as long as I want to. I make phone calls. It's actually more of a requirement and necessity to be able to use a headset to make phone calls while keeping myself hands-free with dealing with paperwork and things like that. So I prefer the longevity of the Life Note E's. I said it anyway. I'm just going to say the full name. The Skullcandy Dimes Life Note E's. So if we're talking about battery life, it is not a contest at all. The Life Note E's take that. If we're talking about physical design, well, that's to the eye of the beholder. I actually like the way both of them look. They both are super comfortable. Neither one gave me any type of ear fatigue. I wore these for about 4 hours total. At one point, well, I've done the full 8 hours at work, and I didn't have any ear fatigue. It was a slight, let me correct myself. It was a slight soreness because I was playing music at louder intervals. When I just wore it in standby mode, I didn't have an issue at all. And there were times where I was like, I got to get my headset out. I got to take this call. And the entire time the headset was in my ear. So I had no type of fatigue issues whatsoever in that aspect, as long as I was playing music at a reasonable volume. With these, they only last 3 hours. So I didn't really get the opportunity to say, oh, my ears hurt. No, they were fine. Call quality was something else to be desired. But we're about to hop into that section. But anyway, like I said before, IPX4, IPX5, don't go jumping in the swim pool with either one of these. Make sure you dry the headset off when you're done, please, so you don't want to put it back on the contacts and damage your case and you think it's a manufacturer issue and it's really a you problem. That does happen. So I can't say how often that happens, but I'm going to always say that make sure you dry off your appliances before you use them. Now, if we're talking about, excuse me here, if we're talking about Bluetooth, I believe these are Bluetooth 5.1, if I'm correct, and these are Bluetooth 5.2. I'm sorry, 5.0, 5.1. So when I connected them to the actual headset itself, I had no issue with either headset. Neither one of them disconnected in an open environment, meaning at home, driving, going to work with a different story. I do go underground. I did have an issue with these, the Skullcandy Dimes. They did connect once during the commute, but that was about it. It was when I got closer to 8th and Market, you heard like a disconnection and then it instantly reconnected. So it wasn't really an issue, it was just some interference. But I can't say that's going to happen all the time. I haven't had any other issues. When it comes to phone calls, hands down, the Soundcore Anchors crushed the Skullcandy Dimes. The Life Note E's crush the Skull Candy Dimes when it comes to call quality. And what I mean by that is when you're listening to a headset, it's going to sound clear to you when a person is talking to you. But when you're on the other end of that spectrum, I did notice that there was cloudiness with the Skull Candy Dimes. Now, granted, if we're talking a comparison, I would give these about a 6 out of 10, and I'll give these a 4 out of 10. 4 being below average, 5 being the average, but not to the point where it's unusable and it's just terrible. It really just depends on the circumstances. Even recording on these Skull Candy Dimes, I still felt cloudiness. Like just doing a regular recording, like a screen recording, while putting them in my ears, these were still very, very cloudy, while the Life Note E's were much, much clearer. So if you're taking Zoom calls, you're taking regular phone calls, you have a Bluetooth computer, not that you would use these for either or a tablet or something, the Life Note E's are going to give you better quality of sound in terms of phone calls, with hands down, no problem. If we're talking about music quality, now Skull Candy always has excelled in music quality. What I will say is that over the last couple of years, when they started making these big, hideous, bulky headsets, it didn't lower the sound quality. It's just that the fit of the headset wasn't very comfortable, so you didn't get the quality of sound that you were supposed to. But with Skull Candy Dimes being so small, let me pull them back out so you guys can see that again. These being so small as they are, I had no issue with music quality. Now, when I did my first review of these months ago, I had the smaller earbud tips and I didn't change them. From that point moving forward with reviews and reading some of the reviews, people, you're crazy, you're wrong, and all this. Yeah, I was wrong about the sound, and I already admitted that in my re-review I did in 2021. Actually, probably yesterday or day before yesterday. By the time you're seeing this video, I already posted the new review on the Skull Candy Dimes. The quality's not bad. They have really good bass with the bigger ear tips. Now, I can get deeper bass with these, but these have the medium tips, and they fit better for what I use them for. I'm not hopping onto the large. The medium's fine for me. I did have to put large in this one, primarily because the headset is so small that when you put the earbud inside of your ear, it has to go a little bit deeper for that medium tip to actually fit into your ear. And I will do the last part of the video I actually would do before we decide which one's better or which one is more for you. I can't really say which one's better. I give you my opinion which one's better, but it's all about how you feel. But I did have to put the larger tip so it could fit more properly in my ear. But yeah, like I was saying about the sound, I'll be honest with you, they both sound very, very good for music. And the thing is, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Anchor Life Note E's had better sound for what I prefer them to have. Like certain songs had richer bass, like it meshed better with the lows and mids and highs. But the Skull Candy Dimes in certain instances had more clarity in some of the music. So if I listen to, let's throw a song out there, Victoria Stay, right? Which is like a Eurobeat song. That doesn't have clarity in the song anyway. It's not mixed properly, in my opinion, where it's super, super sharp. It's like a 1080p song. It was back in the day before all our technology got to where it was. Granted, if I listen to Gangsta Party by Deuce and Offset, or featuring Offset, it's hard to say which one was really better because that's a more up-to-date song with a better quality of, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know who made the song, but the person that made that beat used better quality. It was like recorded in better quality. They were almost identical, though the Life Note E's had better bass and it mixed better with the sounds. The problem was that both these headphones have so much bass that you couldn't hear a lot of the background instruments and music, and the little person like, oh, like as the beat's going, it sounded like a little choir voice in the background. It didn't really pick up those subtle tones. Versus Galaxy Buds would pick up all of that, AirPods would pick up all of that, and then that because we're going into a different tier of headset. Most low ends, I haven't come across a low end headset that could pick up all those subtle noises. So I have to say they're very even in that aspect. Where these excelled in bass, these excelled in clarity of music. Where these excelled in bass in certain songs, it meshed better. It's a mess. I'm going to go ahead and say that they're equal in that aspect. The Life Note E's are better to me in music sound and quality overall, but that's because I make music in FL Studio. And when I do certain cues in FL Studio, there's certain things that this picks up that this one won't. While granted, the Life Note, what are they called? Skull Candy Dimes pick up mixes that I do that the Life Note E's don't necessarily pick up as loud. So again, I'm comparing everything to the fit and feel and just the overall experience. I'm going to give it to the Life Note E's. But if you're in this store, you're looking at the both of these and you're like, well, which one is going to give me better sound overall? Because I had to change the rubber tips to these to large, I'm going to give it to the Life Note E's. But if you are fine with the mediums, you have a small ear canal, because they do give you small, medium, large. So it's not as if by listening to the review, like, well, Life Note E's are definitely going to be better because of what he's saying. You got the medium tip. No. It's all about the fit. The dimes might fit you better. Therefore, the fit is going to produce better sound. So it really depends. And the price is a little bit cheaper. So you have to look at price too. But when you're looking at battery life, it's not a contest. If you want the longevity of a headset that you can use every single day, and you want to go earbuds and you're looking at these two, the Life Note are an obvious choice because of that 8-hour battery life. Most higher end headsets currently are doing 5 hours on ANC or 6 hours off ANC and things like that. These have better battery life than those. So if we're talking about longevity, yes, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Life Note E's. But if we're talking about aesthetic, the fact that it snaps in and is more secure, these can drop. I'm sorry, I'm going to show you. These can drop right here. The case is not going to pop open. Granted, if I drop this one from a higher height, it might not pop open. I'm just going to show you. This didn't pop open. I didn't want to damage it too much. But I have dropped these on the floor and the case popped open and popped underneath my desk. This is more secure. So you have to look at the security feature. This is going to be more secure with the snap rather than you could just pop that open. This one you have to actually put your finger in and pops open and snaps shut. So it's more secure. So you have to look at multiple factors when deciding these earbuds. So in this last section of the video, I'm actually going to put them in my ear, and then we're going to kind of talk about, again, which one do you prefer? All right, guys, so this is the last part of the video where I'm going to put the earbuds in the ears so you can see how they fit. So, one other thing, when it comes to the syncing process, all you have to do is take the earbuds out of the case for both of them. I believe the anchors you might be able to leave in also to do the sync, but just to be safe, take the earbuds out of the case, they'll sync to each other, and then you go to the Bluetooth and the name of the headset will pop up. Simple, easy, no problem. Now, this is going to be the Life Notes first. As a matter of fact, let's put one in each ear. That actually makes things easier. So that way you can see which one is more evasive, which one is bigger, which one's better for a person with longer hair and you're trying to hide it at work if you're able to. So when you look at the skull, let's do the anchors first. Let me pick this phone up. This is how the anchors look inside the ear, as you see. This is how they're going to look inside of your ear. They fit comfortably. They're not really pushing against anything in your ear. They're very light feeling. They feel light. The texture of the headset goes in your ear. Because, when you have a smooth texture for an earbud, what tends to happen is it won't scratch against your ear when you move it around. Sometimes you scratch your face and you move a headset around, and if it's like a texturized rough material, it can feel as if it's scratching against your skin. There's no issue right here. Versus you have the Skull Candy Dimes over here, which, as you can see, are smaller in the ear. The stem on this one, on the notes, extend longer, while the stem on the Skull Candies don't. So if you're wearing things like a Scully or a hat, this is easier to hide or put on your head, and it won't really interfere with the hat that you're wearing. But remember, these aren't that much of a difference. Battery life does matter. Call quality matters. Now, if it's just strictly music, either one is perfectly fine, and you can get the one that's cheaper. But again, I watch podcasts and things, so I'm always going to go with the headset that has the better battery life. Now, when you move this around, this has the more texturized, rougher feel. So when you sweat, that's one thing I will say. When you're sweating with the headset, as a matter of fact, as you look at me right here, you can actually see, if I put my face straight, you can still a little bit see the Life Note E's a little bit. While the Skull Candies, I have to turn my face more for you to actually see the headset sticking out of your ear, so you know which ones are smaller. If we're talking about which one is lighter in the ear, which one feels lighter, Skull Candies, without a doubt. The Dimes feel lighter. They're less evasive. It feels like literally nothing's in my ear at all. The problem with this is that because I had to put on the larger tip to get the deeper bass for my ear, they feel very similar. The Life Note E's and the Skull Candies feel very similar because of the fact that I had to put the bigger tip in there. But if you're using the bigger tip, if you're using the smaller bud, like the smalls or the mediums, they feel much, much lighter than the Life Note E's in terms of weight. So with that being said, this is how this one looks. This is how this one looks. You see it in real time. If you're wondering what these are the Razer Anzu smart glasses. Love these things. They do make smaller ones without the big giant loops, but they're about $100 on sale right now. So, you know, check your local Best Buy or Razer website and they'll hook you up with that. I have no sponsors, so that's enough of that. So with this being said, I'll make this the end of the video. I can't really, again, I'll stick with the life notes. If we're talking about just longevity, sound, and everything, if we're talking about music quality, either one is they're practically equal. I can't even act like it's that much huge of a difference. It's just that because I had to switch the earbud tips up, that did make a difference for me. So if I put bigger tips on these, I'm going to get even deeper bass than I did on the Skull Candies. Keep that in mind. But most people keep mediums in, most people keep larges in. It really depends on your ear fit. I can't tell you which one that you should get. But this review should tell you, listen, if battery life is your preference, life notes, hands down. If the smaller case and being able to, if you're okay with this being exposed, when you take the earbud out, this is exposed. When you put the earbud back in, which I'll show you, do that right here, it's back inside. So if you prefer this to keep on your keychain or throw in your pocket, or how versatile and places you can get it, if this gets scratched up, it's not going to open. If you drop it, like I showed you, it's not going to open. This one, if you drop at a higher height, AirPods, Galaxy Buds, any of those cases, they will pop open. This one is more rugged and can take more of a beating. So keep that in mind if you're one of those people where you don't respect your products, you banging it around and throwing it around and just dropping it on the couch, and then it falls down off the couch, it bounces. You're like, oops. You know which one to get. So anyway, that's the video. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and make sure, actually don't have to make sure anything. Just do that so that these videos get around better with the algorithms, and be safe to the next video.